they're just great shirts. So anyway, we're all here marching. So let yourself sit comfortably and take your time. If you need to stretch your legs out or sit up on a blanket, just let yourself really easily get your sitting bones really evenly into the surface you're on. If you need to rock a little bit side to side, do. And then just close your eyes. Let your hands come gently to wherever feels comfortable for your shoulders. So you're welcome to let your palms turn down or up. Rest them on your legs wherever feels good, or on the floor. And then just breathe. Really just accept your breaths in and out through your nose. See if you can enjoy feeling that sense of when you inhale, you feel that little space before you exhale. And the same thing at the end of your exhale, that little space before you inhale. Let your face relax, let your jaw go. And on your next exhale, let yourself come forward. Now, it depends on you. As you come forward, if you're cross-legged, you can flex your feet a little bit, bring your hands to the floor, or walk further out if you choose. Or you can stretch your legs long, of course. If you're in your chair, you can separate your feet, come a little elbows above the knees forward or more. But if it's possible to let your head hang, do. Once you come as far forward as your back feels good to be. Let yourself enjoy feeling that release for the back, for the hips. Good, and then we'll slowly come on back up to sitting. Let's let our hands release on out beside us, and we'll inhale both arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. And then we'll reverse, inhaling our hands right up through the midline. And on the exhale, open the arms on back out and down. And now let's release our arms on out and bring your left arm on top of your right. Give yourself a hug here. Let yourself release your chin down towards your chest. And then rise your head on back so you can look forward. Now you can stay right here, or you can send your hands, backs of your hands towards each other. Coming in towards an eagle, either a full wrap or a half wrap, or just the backs of the hands gently reaching a little towards each other. Just wake up the shoulders. And see if you can now turn your head to the right, just turning your head and keeping your chin pretty parallel to the floor. And then come back into center and let your head turn the other way to the left. And then we'll come on back into center. One more breath here. And we'll unwind those arms, letting your arms come on straight out from your shoulders here, palms face down. And let's bring our right arm on top of our left. So again, give yourself a hug, however feels comfortable. Let your chin come down towards your chest. Really release your head, let that space between the shoulder blades go. And then slowly bring your gaze on back up and forward. Now you can decide if you want to stay hugging, or you can release your shoulders and send the backs of the hands towards each other, or come into your full wrap. You know, that is totally up to you. And then let yourself turn to look to the left. So letting the chin be pretty parallel to the floor. And then we'll come on back through center and we'll turn to look to the right. And then we'll come on back into center again. Take your time, one more breath. And then unwind your arms. Let your arms come on down beside you. And let your hands come back so that you're either up on your fingertips. You can go farther back if you want. That's up to you. Let your chest draw forward a little bit, the shoulders back. If you can, look up a bit, do, but just be really easy so your neck feels okay. You don't want to feel like you're tensing up, but just open as much as you can here across the chest. And then we'll come on back up. If we're cross-legged, let's switch the cross of our legs. So stretch your legs out if you need to between sides, and bring your other leg in front here. And we're going to come again forward into a seated forward bend. So nice long back, flexing the feet. If you're cross-legged, you can feel the outside edges of your feet in the floor. And again, you may want to stay up pretty high. Still, it might feel good to let your head come down and forward a little bit. Or you might want to walk further forward with your hands. Just be mindful. Let it feel really good. And now we'll come up enough. We're going to walk over towards our left thigh. So let yourself come out over that left thigh and draw your right sitting bone back just a little bit. And then we'll come back through center and we're going to go to the other side. So again, once you get over to the side, the right side, draw your left sit bone back a little bit. Feel a little more there in your side waist. Good, and then we're going to walk back into center again. And let's walk our way all the way back upright again. Let your hands come on out beside you. And let's inhale both arms all the way out and up overhead. And on our exhale, let our hands come right down through the midline to be in front of our hearts. And we're going to make our way on around from here onto our hands and knees. So you know if you do not want to be on your knees, grab a blanket if it feels better for your knees to do that. You can be up and not even be down on your hands at all if need be. You can stand up. You can even put your hands above your knees on your thighs and move through your spine, right? So just get comfortable. Let yourself hang your head for a second and turn your chin a little side to side. And then bring your gaze back down between your hands. Take a nice inhale. And on your exhale, draw up into your cat pose, feeling the tailbone reach down. And on your inhale, send your tailbone back and up. Feel the belly sink, the ribs sink. You can come into your cow pose or a neutral spine, whichever's best. And then start to just ease your way through your spine. Now you know this is up to you. If either one of these poses feels not right to you, don't do it. You can go from neutral spine to a little bit of a curve, either way. So just be mindful. Feel the back waking up really. Just imagine you're waking up all those muscles too along the side of your spine. Enjoy that ease of movement through the spine. Good. We're going to finish off the one we're on. We'll come into more neutral spine here now. And let's bring our left foot forward, right foot back for lunge. So you know you can use your blocks underneath your hands if you'd like, whatever height you want to be, you know that. And get aligned there with that front knee. And draw your shoulders away from your ears so you can get that sense of not shoulders scrunching up by your ears, but you feel that great length. Press the feet gently away from each other. Let yourself come into the back of that right leg and feel your calf and behind your knee. Good. And we're going to switch legs. So we'll bring the right foot forward and we're coming into lunge on the other side. Again, reach back through that inner left heel. If you have a doubt about whether your heel's going directly behind your foot, you can look back at it. But then see about drawing yourself into back of your head in line with your spine. Press the feet gently away from each other and engage your belly a little bit. Good. We are going to switch legs again. So this time, once you find your lunge, let's just add a little bit of a twist, bringing our left hand to our left hip, rolling that left shoulder up. Let your palm come flat down onto your low back, onto your sacrum there, so that you have that twist in the middle of the back. Let it feel good. Feel your head in line with your spine. And we'll bring that left hand back down, and we're going to switch legs again. So as you bring the right foot forward, get yourself situated in your lunge, and then bring your right hand on up. If you can just put your palm right down onto your low back too, rolling the right shoulder up, and bringing your head into line with your spine. Good. And then we'll release to come on back down with our hand. And let's step forward. Come on into your standing forward bend. So we were just talking about this. If you feel like it is better for you to keep your back long, you can use any kind of support you need to do that. You can have your hands on blocks. You can put your elbows above your knees. You know, if you bend your knees, you'll keep the length of your spine there. Those of you who are fine to fold into your standing forward bend, you can hold your elbows if you want. You can let yourself release to wherever feels good. And now, watch your breath. Just see if you can watch your breath all the way in and out. And just let the pose do the work for you, right? All you need to do is watch your breath in and out, and let the forward motion of the body help the backs of the legs to open up. The weight of the head help you find more space in your spine. Easy breaths. Good. And then we'll let our hands from here come on up to our hips. We're going to bend our knees, press into our feet, rise on up to standing. And we'll inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come right down together in front of our hearts. So coming into mountain pose, adjust if you need. If you need to look at your feet, if you need to adjust in any way or sway around a little bit, do. And then just enjoy. Feel equal through your feet. If it helps you to bend your knees a little bit, and imagine you're pressing the floor away from you with your feet. And then feel your thighs lifting up towards your hips. Remember, you don't want to lock your knees, but you are coming into a little bit straighter legs without jamming back into your knees. And then find that spot where your head is floating up there. Right? You can kind of play around with your chin jutting in forward and back a little bit until you have that place where it feels just right, where you can lengthen up through the top of your head. Very easy and open across your chest and across your upper back. And as we unfold our arms right on down beside us here now, we'll inhale both arms all the way out and up. And on the exhale, bend your knees as you come forward into that standing forward bend. And let your next inhale help you find a nice flat back, wherever you like your hands to go. We'll step our right foot back and come into lunge here. And inhale, exhale into your downward facing dog pose. So coming into your down dog, take your time. If you need to walk a little bit, do, or bend both your knees. Take your time to find your hands there equal on the floor. And if you need to look at your hands, do. Sometimes your hands get, one of them turned out more than the other one. Try to even them out as well. Once you come back into that full dog, feel your elbows hugging towards each other. Reach back equally through your sitting bones. So there's no wrist crease anymore when you're pushed back into your dog as far out of your hands as you can go. And on the next inhale, we'll come on out to plank. So nice and strong. Engage your belly here a little bit. Feel your sitting bones reaching for your heels. We are going to lower down, however you want to do that. Knees first if you'd like, or through a full push-up. And now release your arms down alongside you. Turn your palms down towards the ground. And on your next inhale, float into a little baby locust. You're not very high. Your hands are up. Your legs are up a little bit. Your chest is up. Feel one more breath here. And then lower everything back down. And now bend both your knees. Flex through both your feet. Pull your heels just with your leg muscles. Pull your heels in towards your buttocks a little bit. And then lower the legs down. Bring your hands by your chest. And inhale up in the upper body now into a little cobra. And you are more than welcome to keep on going if you like in cobra. Or you can stay down low. Elbows hug in. Try not to lock your elbows in your cobra. Especially if you're up high, it gets very tempting to lock those elbows. But little bend in towards the ribs. And then we'll release to come on back down. We're going to make our way back to down dog. Now you can come through a half or a full push-up, or just reach back onto hands and knees and then into your dog. Now really find your down dog. Really again, press back out of your hands equally, elbows hugging towards each other. And we'll bring our right foot forward to come into lunge here. Now you put your left knee down to get there, you know, however you need to. And then we'll come back into standing forward bend. Feet hips distance apart and parallel. Again, whatever support you need. If you like to hold your elbows, you can. If you need support, use it. And then breathing, nice, easily, deep, full breaths. Let your face go and your jaw. Think about softening all around your eyes and your mouth. Good, and then we'll let our hands rise back up to our hips. Bend our knees, press into our feet, come on up to standing, and inhale our arms out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. Let's inhale our hands right up through the midline. And now, once the hands get up higher, clasp your hands, send your pointer finger out. Hug your elbows in a little bit. Make sure you're not doing that, right? Shoulders are not coming up by your ears. So you can always bend your elbows if it helps, right? And then move over to the left a little bit. So coming into a bit of a side stretch. Let yourself feel your right foot in particular reaching down into the floor. And then we'll come on back up to the top, and we're going to go the other way. So letting yourself come into side stretch there. Feel that left foot into the floor in particular. And then come on back up. Bend your elbows. Let your hands come behind the top of your head if you can. See if you can lift your elbows up a little bit. Press the back of your head gently into your hands there. Now try not to tuck your tailbone forward. Feel your tailbone reaching back towards between your heels. Feel the belly engaging. One more inhale. And now as you exhale, come back forward with the head. Release your arms on down. We're going to inhale the arms right on up forward and up overhead. And then on the exhale, we're going to open the arms and fold forward into standing forward bend. Let your next inhale help you find that flat, long back. And we'll step the left foot back and come into lunge. And inhale. Exhale into downward facing dog pose. Spread those fingers wide. Elbows hug inward. Now, your next inhale, bring you to your plank. Now once you get into plank, see if you can bend one knee at a time. But keep your pelvis right where it is and right how it is, right? Don't drop down. When you bend the knee, try to stay up with the pelvis, kind of walk through your plank a little bit, and then finish back in your full plank. Take one breath here. We are going to lower down, so knees first if you need, elbows right by the ribs. And we'll come onto our fists here. Let your hands make fists, so the elbows hug in and the fingers are kind of in towards your chest, right? And then lift up a little bit. Just a little cobra here. Just let yourself feel the elbows hugging in and down a little bit towards your waist. And now release down. Stretch your arms up to the front corners of your mat. And as you inhale, float up into another little locust pose. Floating up here. And then we'll release everything back down. Again, bring your hands in by your chest. And inhale into either a tiny cobra or keep on pressing up if you choose. Elbows hugging in towards the ribs. And we are going to shift back in towards pose of a child. So when you're ready, letting yourself come on back. Arms stay overhead. Let yourself stay up if you need to, with your bottom up higher if it's too much in your knees to shift all the way back, hips to heels. Good. We're going to walk our hands over to the right. Once we're in this child's pose, we're going to come into a nice side stretch, breathing into the left side. Just let yourself enjoy letting that movement through the ribs, right? Think about all those little muscles you're stretching, and as you breathe, we're gonna walk back through center and go over to the left and find that nice sense now of breathing into the right ribs. Feeling that movement of the ribs on the right side. Nice, and then we're gonna walk back into center with our hands. Spread your fingers wide. Let your next inhale bring you up to all fours, and we're gonna curl our toes under and come on back into down dog. Walk your dog a little bit. Let your head turn a little side to side too. Good. We're going to bring our left foot forward to come into lunge. You can always put your right knee down if you need to get there. And then we'll come all the way back into standing forward bend. Let your knees be soft. Feel your sitting bones over your heels. And let your hands kind of, if you need to gravitate your hands to go to a different place, do. So, you know, if your hands want to move to a different place, get comfortable so you can just breathe. Kind of let the weight of your head help you find release in your neck. Good. One more full deep breath. Bend our knees, press into our feet, and come on up. We're going to inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. Find your mountain pose here. Let yourself enjoy, bringing your gaze on forward and out, whether your eyes are opened or closed. And take a couple of breaths here to appreciate the space around you and feel the air all around you. Let yourself enjoy that quiet strength of simply standing, that alignment of your mountain pose. And then as we unfold our arms, we're going to move with our breath. We'll inhale both arms all the way out and up. And on the exhale, fold forward from the hips, coming into standing forward bend. Let your inhale lengthen out your spine. And exhale, right foot back to lunge. Inhale. Exhaling into downward facing dog pose. Let your inhale bring you out to your plank, and your exhale will lower you down, and your inhale will bring you into your cobra of choice, and exhale back into down dog. Inhale. Exhale, right foot forward to lunge, and inhale. Exhale to your standing forward bend. Bend the knees, rising all the way up to the top. And on the exhale, we're going to come forward again. Let your inhale lengthen your spine. Exhale, left foot back to lunge. And inhale. Exhale into down dog. Let your inhale carry you to your plank. Your exhale will lower you down. And inhale again into that cobra. Exhaling back to down dog. Inhale. Exhale, left foot forward to lunge. And inhale. Exhale to your standing forward bend. Bend the knees, rising all the way to the top. And on the exhale, we'll fold forward again. Let your inhale lengthen your spine. We're going to come to down dog, however you want to get there. So place your hands, come on into your down dog, walk a little bit, even wag your tail around if you want to. Good. And then bend both your knees. Think about your belly coming to your thighs. And then hug your elbows really towards each other so you really feel that hollowing in your armpits. You can really appreciate the length of your spine. And then come on back to your full dog. We are going to bring our left foot forward from here. And have your blocks handy. We're coming up for warrior one. So be mindful as you get that right foot turned out to just the right angle that feels good for you. And let yourself get situated there with your front knee no farther forward than your ankle. And then let's bring our hands together in front of our hearts. And go ahead, clasp your hands, send your pointer finger up, and let your hands start to rise up through the midline. Now, you don't have to go high. You can get with your hands barely above your head and elbows bent. You can come straighter armed if you choose. Let yourself feel your elbows, however, hugging in a little bit, whether the arms are bent or straight. And then see if you can start to bring your gaze up, maybe to where the wall meets the ceiling, feeling that lift at the base of the shoulder blades. Really enjoying that openness through the front of the body here. Good. And one more breath. And now bring your gaze back forward. Let the hands come back down through the midline. Come back into prayer hands together here now. And then we'll unfold our arms. We're going to straighten that front leg out. Have your hands on your hips for a second and think about getting really squared off with your hip pointer bones. And then keep the thighs lifting up as you come on forward for pyramid pose. So be really mindful. You come on forward, hands can come down when you're ready to whatever surface you want to use, right? Whatever height you want to be, whether you're using blocks to any height or a chair or the floor. But keep those thighs lifting up and try to keep the length of your spine here now. So even if you go lower, keep the length of your spine. Have both your hands down in your pyramid pose so that you're really feeling even in the sides of your body. Because we're going to add a twist. So keep your right hand grounded. Bring your left hand up to your left hip. Remember how we just put our palm down onto our low back? We're going to roll that shoulder up again here. Now if you want to stretch your arm up, go for it. That is totally up to you. And then we're going to come on back down. Bring your hand on back down. Now if you want to bow over your leg, do it. If it feels good, you can fold forward. You don't need to. It's only if it feels good to you. One more breath. And then come on back up, more parallel to the floor. We're going to bend the front knee and find full lunge here. Let yourself just come into your lunge easily. And we're going to make our way back into downward facing dog pose from here. Walk to the tops of the feet. Let yourself release by pressing into the top of the toes, 1 foot at a time there. Good. And then come on back to your full dog, and you can come out for your plank and move through for a back bend if you so choose, right? And you can do that whether you come through chaturanga, coming through vinyasa, or maybe you like those kriyas where you don't come through chaturanga at all, you just come from down dog through to up dog. You don't have to do any of those at all if you don't want. Put your knees down and rest anytime you choose. Good. Let's finish off so we can meet back in down dog. Find your dog. Come to your breath. And then we'll bring our right foot forward. We are coming up for warrior one, remember? So again, adjust that back foot maybe as you come up or maybe when you get up, right? We're all different how we like to get into this. Feel that back foot turned out to where you're comfortable in that left back knee and in your ankle, all the way up in here into the front of your left hip. And be mindful of that front knee so that it's bent no farther forward than your ankle. And then let your hands come together. And let's do the clasping again. Now, when you clasp your hands, you'll naturally have one thumb on top. So when you go ahead and interlace your fingers, unclasp and put the other thumb on top so that you put your fingers that way. And then send your pointer finger up. So it feels like you're holding somebody else's hand as your hands rise up through the midline. Now again, how high you go, totally up to you. Elbows hug in. You can keep your elbows soft if it's better. You can let yourself start to feel that lift at the base of the shoulder blades as you look up a little higher. That doesn't mean your arms have to go back at all, right? Your arms can stay forward. Or you can have your arms back by your ears. Just feel that back foot fully in the floor. Feel the lift through the front of the body. You might even want to press your feet away from each other like you're trying to make your mat longer with your feet coming into your hips. We're going to bring our gaze back forward. We're going to bring our hands right back down to be into prayer hands in front of our hearts. And then unfold your arms and let your hands come to your hips. We're going to straighten out. Now you might want to adjust to come into squaring the hips here. You might need to adjust the back foot. And then as you come forward, feel your thighs engaging up towards your hips. You might even think about this left hip pointer bone drawing towards the right one. When you get ready to put your hands down, whatever surface you want to use, just adjust. And you might want to adjust again. Once you get your hands down, if you need to adjust the length of your stance again, do it. No, it can be just an inch that you feel a little bit better. Let your thighs lift up towards your hips. Feel the length of your spine. Reach back through your tailbone, but engage your low belly at the same time. And then bring your right hand on up to your right hip. Roll the shoulder up. Put the palm down onto your sacrum if you can. Feel like your head is a part of your spine. So it's reaching directly forward, the top of the head. Try not to roll to the outside of that right foot. One more breath here. Good, and then let yourself bring your right hand on back down. If you want to fold over that front leg now, you can. If it feels good to do that, if not, don't do it. Just be easy. Feel the thighs still engaging upward. Really opening up through the backs of the legs. Really using all those muscles around your knees. Good. And then bring your hands on back so the back is long. We're going to bend the front knee and find that lunge again. Come on back into your lunge. And we'll make our way back into downward facing dog pose. Good. Walk through to the tops of the feet again a couple of times. And then when you're ready, if you want to do some vinyasas or kriyas, you are more than welcome to. So take your time, and if you feel like you'd rather put your knees down, or if you'd rather stay in down dog, do. Maybe you feel like you'd rather just walk again through your feet a little bit, wag your tail. Good. So finish off. We'll meet back in down dog. And this time we'll bring our left foot forward, and we're coming up for warrior two. So again, you're going to need your blocks around, so let them be handy. Line your heels up here. Find that alignment of that front knee. And then just let your left hand stay on the top of your thigh, your left thigh here. Look down at your knee or your foot, wherever you want to look down there. And then let your right arm rise up so that it's right up, your hand is right above your shoulder and your palm is facing the front of your mat, that short edge of your mat. And just take a breath there. And now we're going to start to come right into warrior two arms, bringing our gaze up, bringing our left arm on up, and reaching back through the right hand there. See if you can lift your left heel a little bit up off the floor. Feel the quad engaging. Imagine releasing the outer left hip down. Good. And then let the heel come on down. We'll turn the left palm up. We're going to inhale, reach up towards the sky with our left hand. And on the exhale, we'll come into side angle, bringing that left hand or forearm onto our thigh. Go ahead and swing the right arm up into line. If your shoulder lets you, turn the pinky down towards the floor. Enjoy. Good. One more breath here. Now turn to look down. And we're going to bring our left hand down for triangle. So you may want to use a block. You may want to put your hand onto your leg. That's up to you. Start to straighten that left leg out. Let the right arm start to rise up, straight up from your shoulder. Now you can turn your head to look forward, or you can stay looking down at your foot. You can turn to look up at your right hand or up at the ceiling up there if you want to. So feel really engaged upward though with those thighs. Good. One more breath. And now turn to look at the floor. Bring your right hand down. We are just going to walk around from here into a wide-legged forward bend. So you might want your block, or you might want to just let your hands come down to the floor. As you get there, bend your right knee. As you get to where your feet are parallel and you're as wide as you want to be, bend your right knee. And then bend your left knee and straighten your right knee. So you go to that side. And then come on back into center and walk your hands over towards the right. Doesn't matter how far you go. You can go all the way to the foot or not. Right hand is going to rise up to your right hip. Just take a breath there. And then bring your right hand down. We're going to walk back through center and go to the left. You don't have to go all the way to the foot. You can just shift your blocks a little bit. You can go all the way. You can put your left hand up on your left hip. Good, and then bring your hands down, let yourself walk back. Now with your blocks or hands on the floor, walk your hands way out like you're doing a down dog. And your knees can bend, that's fine. Let your chest melt down towards the ground. Let your elbows hug inward just a little bit so you feel pretty good you're really getting into that little bit of a back bend in your upper back there. Good, and then come forward like you're going to go into plank. So, I mean, if you can, walk with your hands or with your blocks forward to where you bring your hips down towards the floor. If you want to do a little push-up, you can. That's certainly up to you if that sounds like a good idea. And then we'll walk ourselves back, walk our hands on back, and set up to be in your pose here for some breaths where you're not feeling any kind of struggle, right? So if you want to grab blocks to put under either arms or under your head, right? You can always adjust the height of these blocks. That's what's so fun to play with blocks. You got all these heights. You know, if you decide you want to try your head, you got all those heights to be. You can find maybe the perfect spot where whether you're using your blocks or not, where you can just release into your breath. Remember, it's fine to put your elbows above your knees and expect that back to stay long if that's what you need. But just breathe. Full breaths. You know how the ribs expanded so nicely when we were in child's pose? Just think about feeling that way in the ribs and both sides when you inhale. Good. One more nice, full, deep breath. And even though we'd like to stay here all day, we're going to walk on out and we're going to walk back over to our left foot and come on back into our lunge and then come on back into downward facing dog pose. So again, once you get in dog, if you need to put your knees down, do. If you feel like rather than a vinyasa or kriya, you want to open your hips a little bit, you can always lift legs up and kind of move around there. Let it feel good, right? Let your body kind of take over to do whatever it needs to do. There is no right or wrong. So, good. If you're doing two sides of something, make sure you do the second side now so that you can even out. And then we'll meet ourselves back in down dog. When you're ready, take a couple of breaths in your dog. Good, and we're going to bring our right foot forward. We're coming up for warrior two. So again, you might want to have your blocks handy there. Line up your heels. Get yourself really aligned with your legs and your feet. And then bring your right hand onto that front right thigh. Check the alignment of that right knee. And let yourself look down at your knee or your foot or your hand. And bring that left arm up overhead. Turn your left palm towards the front edge of your mat. So it's very releasing. You can really relax your neck there. Now when you start to inhale to rise up into warrior two arms, let it be easy as you reach out through the front fingertips, back through the left fingertips, softening the shoulders down. Feel the feet in the floor. Enjoy that power and strength of warrior two. And then we're going to turn the right palm up, bring the left hand down, inhale, reach up into that reverse warrior, back behind yourself if you want, and on your exhale, coming into that side angle. So right hand or forearm onto your thigh, and letting that left arm come on up. So press into that forearm or hand a little bit. Now, if you can, try lifting your heel here in your side angle. So you're lifting the heel of the right foot a little bit up, drawing the right outer hip back. Put the heel on back down. Let yourself enjoy there. Good. We're going to look down at our right foot here. We're going to set up for triangle. I like to use a block. You can use whatever you want. Straightening your right leg out and letting the left arm come up if your shoulder lets you, straight up from your shoulder. Feel free to put your left hand on your hip. You know that. Check out your right foot while you're looking at it. Make sure you're not rolling to the pinky toe side of the foot or the inside of the foot. And then you can turn your head however you want. You can look out, just straight forward. You can think of turning to look up at your hand up there. But feel your thighs engaging up towards your hips. Let yourself enjoy that full extension of the body in your triangle pose. Awesome pose. One more breath. And now turn to look down. Let your left arm come down. We're going to walk around, remember, into that wide-legged forward bend from here. So you can have your blocks. Take your time. Once you kind of get your hands around, whether they're on blocks or the floor, bend a knee at a time in your own timing. So you're just releasing however you need to go there. Good. And then turn your toes out a little bit like you're doing goddess. Let yourself bend both knees there and come into that kind of squat where it feels good. And you're more than welcome to straighten one leg out at a time there. Those of you who like to straighten your right leg out and bend your left knee and lift your right foot up or go down with your hips, you're more than welcome to do that. If that feels really good, you can go low and let yourself release that way. And you can go from side to side however you choose. But you don't need to do that. It's only if it feels good. Stay up high if you need. And then when you finish off and you come back, try to go ahead and bend the knees again. Feet are turned out a little bit. And then come back and turn one foot at a time in so that they're parallel again. Get your feet set for your wide-legged forward bend. And you know, only you know about how you feel coming into this pose. So hands can come on your ankles or between your feet. You can walk your hands behind you. Or you know you can have support in front of you, whether it's your hands or your blocks. And be where you're able to be so that it's so easy to feel your breath. You can really forget about your body, essentially, and just watch your breaths all the way in and out. And one more nice, full, deep breath. And we are going to let ourselves walk on out with our hands so we can walk back to that right foot to come back into lunge and back into our downward facing dog pose. So last vinyasas or kriyas here if you want to do any. You are more than welcome to not. That is totally up to you. Take your time. You can put your knees down and rest. Go into child's pose if you'd rather. Be mindful. Good. And then we'll finish off to meet back in down dog. And then from here, bend your knees and let yourself think about whether you want to jump or walk towards your hands up there on the front of your mat. So when you do come forward, it feels comfortable. You know, you can jump, you can walk, you can skip a little bit up there. Let yourself be easy when you get your feet underneath you. Some of you might even want to slip your hands under your feet. If you like to turn your palms up and slip your hands under your feet so that your toes are pressing into the heels of the palms of your hands there, you can if that releases your wrists. Obviously, don't do that if it bothers your back. Take your time, full deep breaths. Good, and then we'll bring our hands up to our hips. We're going to bend our knees, press into our feet, and rise up. And inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come right down through the midline as we feel the top of the head reaching upward. All that space in the spine, finding that alignment in your pelvis, and letting yourself enjoy. Feeling the energy flowing through the body as you come into your mountain pose, but at the same time, you're so strongly based, it's so easy to be there. And then we'll release to let our arms come on down beside us and shake out, move around however you need to. And we are going to bring our mats into a ball. So I think we're okay. Let's see. So, Arena, you go to that one, and yeah, Lynette, you be there. You two are over there, and let's put you right here in the middle. Yeah.
Here in the middle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You guys have plenty of room, so
Yeah.
right. If,
Thank you.
there you go. Perfect. And bring your stuff with you. We're gonna stay. Bring everything with you and get the short edge of your mat into the wall. We'll be here the rest of class. So we are gonna need a block for what we're gonna do next. So let yourself get hold of a block and bring the block. Let's turn left hand to the wall. Bring the block, let's say about a foot away from the wall. And you're on the lowest height of the block. All right, about a foot. You'll kind of give or take, depending on you. And then we'll bring our left foot up on the block. We're going to stand up on it. Now, just for fun, your right leg's hanging there. You keep your left hand on the wall, and for a second, bend your left knee, put your right foot back down on the floor, and then press up back again where you were. So let me tell you, if you did this exercise 20 or 30 times on each leg every day, you get pretty darn strong in your legs, right? You're going to get strong all around your knee. So it's a pretty safe one too. Anyway, it gets kind of boring. We're going to stop, and then from there we're going to bring our right foot up for tree. Now, you can decide in this tree pose whether you want to put your foot below or above your knee. You get yourself comfortable there. Keep your left hand on the wall for a second. And then bring your right arm up and start to lean your head to the wall. Let your right fingertips touch the wall. So you're in a side stretch, but you're supported with your head on the wall and your fingertips. Let your left arm just hang down now. And just enjoy being here for a second. Just breathe into the right ribs. Feel the foot into the inside of your left leg gently, and feel your left leg coming back gently into your foot. So there's this kind of equal and opposite thing going on there. And now you put your left hand back on the wall to rise up. Let the left hand then come up the wall and see if you can balance here in your tree. Turn your palms towards each other. You can keep the back of your left hand on the wall if you need. Just enjoy. Find a little tree pose there. Let it feel good. And then we'll come on and release, step back down. And we're going to turn around. And we're going to put the right foot up there on that block. Now again, if you can do this stepping up and then back down thing, if you feel like it, is very helpful to feel that strength now of that right leg, feeling the quad engaging and really using the muscles around your knees, right? So it's very strengthening to just step up and back down, step up and back down. Just a few times. If you want to do this every day, like I said, it's kind of like stepping stairs, right? But not exactly. Finish off, so you're up on the block again. And then again, bring your left foot in now for your tree, wherever you like it to be. So it might want to be up high, it might want to be down below your knee. Get yourself to where you feel your hips square. Start to rise your left arm up and then lean your head to the wall. Put your left fingertips on the wall and let your right arm hang down. So that should feel really good. You can feel the foot now. You can concentrate on that foot coming into your leg and the inner leg coming back into your foot. And you can breathe into the left ribs a little bit too. I think it feels really good. One more breath. And now put your right hand back on the wall as you come up so that now the right hand can kind of slide up the wall. And you can come again into practicing a little bit of balance up here. Remember, you are up on a block, however. So, if you feel like you're going to fall, remember you're not at floor level. So be mindful. And if you need to come down and take your time to get back up again and try again, do. Good. And then we're going to release. We're going to let ourselves come down. Step off that block and move it out of the way and turn to face the wall. And let's step our left foot to the wall all the way. Like you can, if possible, curl your toes up the wall. But keep the ball of your foot on the floor. Step your right foot back just a little bit, like a really mini lunge with the heel directly behind your foot, but on the floor. And then start to bend your left knee to touch the wall. Right now, If it feels better to you, you can stack your hands and put your forehead on your hands and rest your head. Engage your belly here. And if you don't feel enough in the back of that right leg, particularly the calf, you can go farther back. But the ticket is to keep the heel on the floor. It's a very intense calf stretch. And the ticket is to keep the heel grounded, zip up the belly, reach the sitting bone down towards the heel, and let yourself just enjoy that stretch. Good. Now, if you can't curl the toes up, don't worry about it. I can't do it all on the other foot myself. But it is actually a very good exercise if you can. Come on back up. We're going to switch legs so you can just bring your right foot forward. Again, if you can't curl the toes up, no big deal. If you can bend that right knee into the wall, keep the left heel on the ground and just get comfortable with your upper body. You don't have to put your head on your hands. I mean, you can keep your hands on the wall if you prefer. Just let yourself find that openness for the back of the left leg. Really good for the ankles, the calves, the whole back of your leg there. Good. One more breath. The Achilles, right? And then come on back up out of it. And we're going to turn around. We're going to come down to the floor, and we're going to put our feet back towards the wall behind us. Big toes together, and separate your knees for a child's pose as far as you want. And you know, in child's pose, you can stay somewhat forward if you're feeling like, oh, I just need to keep my hips up a little bit. If you rather bring your arms back alongside your legs do, or you're more than welcome to keep your arms soft overhead. But see if you can let it be a releasing child's pose. So instead of feeling like you're working in it, let it feel pretty releasing. And then feel the breath coming into the low back. Feeling the low back expand fully as you inhale. Good. And then we'll come up enough to thread the needle with our right arm. Let your right arm come on under and through. Now, you can, if you want, just bend your left elbow and put your left hand under your head if that feels better to you. Or you can let the arm be soft, just have the hand on the floor, or stretch the arm forward overhead if you want. Really, again though, let it feel like you're really focusing on releasing between the shoulder blades on your back. And then let your left hand come back by your face because we're just going to press up to go to the other side. So threading the needle on that other side, and again, what you do as far as where you rest your right hand and what you do as far as stretching the arm or keeping it soft, just up to you. But let it feel good as you breathe into between your shoulder blades. Releasing through the shoulders. Good. Bring your right hand back enough to press up. We're going to bring our arms overhead, and we're going to come on up to all fours. Now, this is up to you. If you can, curl your toes under and come into a down dog with your heels up the wall so that they're up the baseboard and they're resting. Probably pretty much towards the top of the baseboard for most of us. You can hug your elbows in. And you don't have to do these. If you feel like you don't want to do this, you'd rather come to your forearms, do. You know you can come down and go back into dolphin if you'd rather. And if anybody wants to lift a leg up the wall, you can. You can let yourself come into that three-legged dog, a handstand preparation on your hands or on your forearms, right? So totally optional. We all know that. You take your time, you switch legs if you want, you do both legs up if you want, and you also rest when you want. So be mindful, take your time. Like to walk up the wall. Remember, the more you come into that kind of 90-degree angle at your hips, that's when you have your shoulders right over your wrists or your elbows, and that's what gets you into being in the position you would be in for a handstand or for a forearm stand if you ever are interested in doing one. And like a lot of us, or who cares, I never want to do that anyway, it doesn't matter. Just being upside down like this, just being supported with your feet up the wall in that down dog. If any of you want to turn around and practice a little bit, you're more than welcome to do that. Like if you're practicing on trying to get up into a handstand and you want to turn around and kind of kick up or do the same thing on your forearms, feel free. Just play a little bit. Rest when you need to and maybe try again. Sometimes if you try about 3 times, it's kind of fun because it gets you 3 times kind of is a good number to let yourself practice. Because you don't get too tired, but you just push yourself a little bit, you know. Be good. A little more than you think. But not so much that you're going to be sore tomorrow and go, oh my gosh, I can't move my arms. So, not good. And really, if you were doing anything on your hands, take care of your wrists when you come down. So you know you can circle, you can hold the wrist with one hand, move through. I like to turn my hands over. Good. And now, we're all going to come on into sitting. You might want to get a blanket to sit on. You might not. It's up to you. So do this. Have your blocks handy in case you want them. And see about, just for a second, crossing your right leg in front. Just cross-legged, okay? Now, if you want a little more into getting into your hips here, you can get a block like this and put your right foot on it. And you see how I'm not crossing at my ankles? I'm kind of trying to cross my legs more than my lower legs. So you can put your block there. When you come forward, just be really mindful because it's very deep in this right hip. And it's kind of like if you did this pose where they call it stacked logs really, where you stack your lower legs up and you flex your feet here and come forward. You can press your foot or your feet into your hands. Same thing if you have your foot here, you can let yourself come a little bit forward and be really mindful. It doesn't take much. So just let yourself find where you can. If you prefer being stacked, you can let yourself have the stacked legs and just be easy as you come forward. And maybe if coming forward's not possible, just the sitting up itself, right, will do it, just to have the foot up here like this instead of down on the floor. Good. One more breath with that leg in front. Now slowly rise back on up. We're going to switch legs. So again, take your time. Let yourself kind of stack up however you need. I like the way Sherman's doing it. She's got herself totally supported by her leg. That's pretty cool, Sherman. That feels even better, right? It does. I like that. So be mindful and take your time. Let yourself, again, if coming forward, it feels like too much of a pull in your left hip, don't do it, you know? And again, the flexing of the feet, maybe pressing your feet a little bit into your hands, engages you up into your hips, so you're less likely to over-pull, to overdo in your stretch. Good. And then we're going to take one more breath here. And then think of slowly coming up out of it. And let your legs just stretch on out in front of you for a second. And move through your feet and your ankles. Circle around a little bit. Or do your windshield wiper blades, which to me is always. And another one that feels good after that is to just let your feet come together and roll through from the outside of one hip to the outside of the other. And it's like a massage. Well, not quite as good as a massage, but it's better than nothing. And then we'll come on back And we're gonna bring the soles of our feet into Baddha Konasana. So again, if you need to be up on a blanket, do. And if you need to bring blocks because you feel like you're just tensing like crazy in this pose, don't let yourself feel that way. Put support underneath the outside of the legs so that you can sit up tall. Reach your tailbone back a little bit and your sits bones back a little bit. So you really feel like you can just ease your way upward in your Baddha Konasana. And it feels good. And then let really think about your pinky toe coming down to the floor. You can hold your ankles if you need to. We're going to do a little tiny twist here. Inhale here. And as you exhale, twist to your right. And you can let your left hand just stay on your feet there if you want, or bring it across to the right knee or the right shin. But, let the back do the twist more than anything there. One more inhale. And as we exhale, we'll come on back around all the way to the other side. And one more inhale. And on the exhale, we'll come on back into center again. And now see if you can come a little forward. It doesn't have to be much. It might be more in your mind than anything else. You can let yourself release forward and feel that sense of coming forward from your low back. Gently and easily. Of course, if you get pretty far forward and it feels great to let your head hang a little bit, that is up to you. That is grounding in the upper back, however, so if you know it's not so good for you, don't do it. Good. One more breath. Slowly make our way up. We are going to bring our hands behind us. Stay on your fingertips. So let your hands walk back a little bit where you feel pretty comfortable to draw your chest forward, but you're still up on the tips of your fingers and your thumbs. And then just look up a little bit. Draw the chest forward. Imagine the knees are reaching away from the midline. Not pressing down, but reaching away. Open up through the chest there. Good. And then come on back up. You can use your hands to help your knees come up. Stretch your legs out in front of you. And we're going to come down onto our backs on the floor. So let yourself release down onto your back. Take your time. Have your knees bent and your feet on the floor. And just let the knees then go from side to side. It's up to you. You can let your head turn to go the other direction than the way your knees are going, if that feels good. So you find release, just really easily, knees coming one side and the other. Oh, and if you're lucky, you'll get a good pop. I just did, that was nice. And then come on back up with your knees. Let your feet come in for bridge pose wherever feels pretty good for you. And remember, you can always adjust it. Bring your arms down alongside your body. Bend your elbows to 90 degrees. For fun, stay there, but press into the backs of the arms. Feel the chest lift up. And then get your elbows in closer towards each other if you can. So your spine's off the floor. And it's very easy then to feel the hips want to rise up as you press down more. Once you get up, you might even want to get elbows closer together under you and really be right there on the backs of your shoulders, right? Top. And really feel your head. Feel the back of your head just gently into the floor. So your chin doesn't rise up like that, but you don't sink the chin into your chest either. And then you can decide, you can stretch your arms long. If you like clasping your hands under you in bridge pose, you can. If you prefer to put a block to be supported right underneath your sacrum, you can grab a block or blocks. You can use your hands if you want to, but if your wrists are like, oh my gosh, I don't want to do any more of that kind of work, you can always use the blocks. If you stack 2 blocks up from their lowest height, so that they're 2 lowest heights together, it's pretty high. Probably not quite as high as you could do with your hands, but it feels pretty good. You can roll your shoulders under. You can lift up off the blocks and come back down. Now, you know, this is all optional. So if you don't want to do supported bridge, don't. If you want to do supported bridge and stay there on the blocks and rest so that you're releasing your back, then do that. And take your time. If you need to come out of bridge, you come out of bridge pose. Don't do bridge pose to where you feel like you're locking into it. And remember, you feel bridge pose in your thighs, but you don't want to feel bridge pose in your back. You don't want to feel discomfort in your back. So feel free to play. If you're on your block and you like your legs to float up when you're resting on the block, you can play with legs up. You can do little ab work, of course. That's a fun way to do ab work, is to be on your blocks and let yourself do the leg lifts so that you activate the core body a little bit. The other thing on the block is to let one leg come down long so that you open up through the front of the hip. And you can do both legs at the same time too if you like. So this is your time. Do what feels good. I mean, even old-fashioned bicycles feel good up on this block, right? You got more control, and you can really tell when you're using your belly, your low back, and your hips, and you're not letting your pelvis move around. So obviously, don't do anything that feels not good. And you can come down whenever you want. And I know some of you, when you come down from bridge pose, have all different ways to release your back yourself. So, you know, that is something that you kind of start to discover. If bringing your knees into your chest feels good, or a happy baby pose feels good, or a plow pose feels good, or, you know, we're all different. So once you come down from your bridge pose, let your back release how you need. If you need to do a twist, let yourself do twists. You can either put your feet down and let your knees just go side to side like we did, or you can bring the knees in toward the chest, do those double knee twists, or you can bring one leg in, knee across the body. So be mindful, really just be easy as you start to think of settling down for your Shavasana. I've got all stuff here at the studio that I can bring and help use to support you. I'll start to walk around, and then I'll bring things that people might want to use. I have a few ideas. You're welcome. Remember, you do want to be comfortable for Shavasana. So if you do not feel comfortable, even like in the middle of Shavasana, don't try to make yourself, force yourself in Shavasana ever. If you need to roll to your side, do it. If you need to, you know, move a little bit to get yourself more comfortable, do. And if anybody needs a blanket here for underneath their head to support their neck a little bit, please wave at me, or a bolster for underneath your knees, or a blanket. So take your time. Let yourself just be easy. Feel the ground underneath you supporting you. When your mind wanders off into different thoughts, it's okay. Just softly keep coming back to your breath. If counting helps, that's really what helped me learn to meditate, was counting my breaths. Then you can count, come back to the last number you remembered. So just enjoy giving your body and your brain time to find these little quiet places. They come and go. yourself time to benefit from all you just did. Just let yourself completely and fully relax. as you breathe in and out, feeling the breath refreshing you, bringing you back into wanting to move. Start with extremities if you can. Your fingers and your toes might want to wiggle, your hands and your feet, letting your arms, your legs do what you need. If you need to stretch, if you need to roll to one side, you're always welcome to roll to either side into a fetal position. Just giving yourself time here so that you don't come up too abruptly. It feels pretty natural. You start to want to physically move and eventually end up back upright again. So take your time. Head up to sitting, let yourself get comfortable in the way you sit. So if your eyes can be closed, let them stay closed, and keep internally focused a little bit longer. Feel pretty good about your sitting bones reaching down and the top of the head reaching up, but your shoulders soft, relaxed. Almost feel like your skeleton is supporting you, really, that central column of your spine. Back to your breath, and let your next exhale bring your hands gently to meet in front of your chest, in front of your own heart, and wishing each one of you a very joyful day. Namaste. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Middle of June.